In this video, we're going to talk about what it's like to live in North Albuquerque Acres. We'll talk about the pros and cons, the good, the bad, the ugly. Are there ugly, Mr. Slow?
Well, that's such a strong word. I don't like to use it.
Oh, you don't like ugly?
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
No bad or ugly, just pros and cons.
It's all relative to what you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. North Albuquerque Acres is in the northeast section of Albuquerque. It borders Pueblo land.
Within walking distance to the casino. That's a pro for me.
We always joke that a certain UFC fighter that lives in the area may have a tunnel underground to the casino. That is hearsay. I don't know that. Getting back to the serious part of what it's like to live in North Albuquerque Acres, I think the joy or the demand that is... I totally lost my train of thought.
I have a question. The Pueblo land there that used to observe roaming buffalo or bison, have they been temporarily removed while that construction's going on?
I think so.
And then they'll probably be brought back in, or?
Well,
that's part of the charm.
Yeah, that's something that I was trying to get more information on yesterday afternoon, is whether or not that they're building something or just adding maybe a drainage system to that land. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what's going on there.
There's definitely no beast on the pasture there.
No beast to feast on. Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the draw or demand of living in North Albuquerque Acres, why people love it so much, is that typically you are on 0.89 of an acre of land. And so you have space for a large home. And that leads right into the averages of what has sold in North Albuquerque Acres recently. The average home size was around 4,000 square feet, which is the highest we've seen so far. I think Los Ranchos was about 3,300 square feet.
You pointed something out that I had no knowledge of, and I thought was interesting. The minimum is really 1 acre, but since the property line goes to the middle of the street, the residential street.
Yeah, that 0.11 is lost because
so your usable space is a little less.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And the average home sold in 45 days on market for $1.265 million. The most sales in Albuquerque, the greater Albuquerque area, over $2 million. I think it really just shows the demand and desire for space, privacy, great school districts, or I should say highly rated school districts. Great is an opinion. Ratings are done by other people, so I can say that's a third party. And one thing about North Albuquerque Acres, it is unincorporated Bernalillo County land. So you are not technically a part of the city of Albuquerque. So you're on well and septic. You have waste management usually come and get your trash. You're not part of the sewer system. Yeah, and so I think again, if you are looking for an off-grid property, if you're able to put solar on your house, you have your private well and septic, you don't connect to the gas company, everything's electric, you can be fully off-grid.
Oh, it's all electric in addition.
You could if you wanted to.
Oh. But
as an example.
Can you get gas, natural gas?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Because that would be a con for me
if you had a propane tank?
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Because cooking is different on propane. People think it's the same, it's not.
Yeah, that's one thing about San Pedro Creek Estates, is that originally that property land was developed with propane in mind, and now they have underground gas connectivity. But yes, I would say propane is a deterrent for some buyers.
So interesting that it's not city limits of Albuquerque, since it's so centrally located right there in that urban center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting when you look at the history of that land. So it's the Elena Gallegos land grant, and their land went from the middle of the Rio Grande River all the way up to the top of the Sandia Crest.
Oh, yeah.
And even the land that we're sitting on right now, across from Whole Foods, was part of that land grant, and they broke it up, sold it off, and there was a California company, I believe, that purchased the land because the original owners stopped paying taxes, and it went to blah, 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 blah. And they are the ones that platted the 1 acre rectangle lots throughout this entire area. And luckily, the area that we're in now, they were able to purchase off pieces of that and develop it into a city. But North Albuquerque Acres, because it was so far away from the center of town, Albuquerque grew from Old Town, downtown, Nob Hill, and then out this way, out this direction. It was the last place. I remember my mom mentioned when she was in high school, she went to Manzano High School, that they used to party way out in North Albuquerque Acres. There was absolutely nothing. Paseo was a dirt road if it was even a road. And they would just have bonfires, and it was away from the life in the city. The draw of living there still to this day is that you are bordering Pueblo lands, and you have privacy, low light pollution, and again, you have the space, highly rated school districts. One thing that I feel as I drive through North Albuquerque Acres is a lack of consistency, and that can be a pro and a con. A pro being every home is custom built.
You mean in terms of architecture?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, every home is custom built, so you can have a Pueblo style next to a farmhouse, next to a Mediterranean with the turrets, as you like to call them. And we even saw a home yesterday with a little moat going out the front.
I always say, if you see a home with the turret, it better have a moat out front.
It better have a moat. You might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I think that is for some a pro because you do have custom homes, but for some it's a con, right? There's not a consistency like I would say there is in High Desert or Sandia Heights, where the Pueblo style that blends in with nature, and of course there's other types of homes in those areas, but typically that's what you find.
It doesn't appear to me, just in our exploration, that there's much restriction of how large the house can be on a particular lot.
Yes.
So for a lot of folks, that's a pro because they want to build what they want, as big as they want, and whatever style they want. Mm-hmm. And so the uniform thing that I see over there is big. Everything's big, very grand.
There are some covenants, but they're very minimal, and the restrictions, are minimal, so you can kind of build whatever, however, whenever you want. The one Bernalillo County restriction that a lot of people have a hard time with is if you build a casita, a guest house, you're not allowed to have a range in that casita because then it becomes a full second home, and that is a restriction within Bernalillo County.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so what a lot of people do is they're smart, is they'll build in the cabinetry, and then behind the cabinetry there'll be a space that you can kind of pull that out and plug in or push in a range, or you just have a cooktop.
yeah, or get all your green tags before you put the range in.
Exactly.
I like to break a rule every now and then, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
Because if you have in-laws, they may want to cook in their little casita.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good point that you get to, is the ability to have multi-generational living in North Albuquerque Acres is probably more prevalent in that area than any other in town.
What do you think the logic is for that code restriction? Just because they fear that people will rent the casitas to second families, or I just always like to understand what the logic behind it.
Yeah, if I were to try to argue on the county's behalf, it would be to keep because then you get in a situation where if you limit it to 2, or if you don't have any limits on it at all, then you have 4 or 5 houses on one lot that gets subdivided.
I didn't mean
less.
the quantity. I meant like having the cooktop, the range.
I think that's where it becomes a full house in their mind. It's a silly rule.
Oh, so they want one resident per lot, and you can have the casita, which is for guests.
Yeah, you can have a detached building or even an attached ADU, but it can't be a full dwelling unit. And I think I don't know why the cooktop. That's a good question. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but if you start asking me a lot of government questions, I'm going to probably have that answer for most things.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't usually make sense when it involves the government, but
yeah. If you work for the government, forgive us. So we talked about the consistency within architecture and how you can have a manufactured home next to a $3.5 million brand new, incredibly beautiful, tasteful home next door. And now that leads into purchasing lots. We were looking at, as you drive through North Albuquerque Acres, you'll notice that there are some lots that are going to be difficult to build on because of the drainage systems that come down. There's some natural flow of drainage from the Sandia Mountains down into North Albuquerque Acres. And so those lots that have drainage issues that you would need to either create drainage around, like the house that had the moat, that we joke about, they had put in, you can tell, spent a lot of money to have the drainage of that system move away from their home, or you put it up on stilts, which we saw a classier version of that yesterday as we were.
they've put some infrastructure below grade. far east, right? So even though that is the natural,
They have put some, but not a lot.
not a lot. Okay.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
And there are still a number of lots that are in the low 100s to mid 100s that have those drainage concerns.
Right.
Now, ones that don't have the concern sell between 375 and 450 an acre. And there was one recently, it was 1.8 acres at the very far northeast end of Elena that I think was listed for 800,000 for 1.8, and it sold pretty quick within a couple weeks. You know, typically land, I've had some lot sales in North Albuquerque Acres listed for 350, beautiful acre lots that are somewhat easy to build that sat on market for a long time.
But no sewer and water, correct?
No, so there are little nooks within North Albuquerque Acres where you have a gate and then you have a community well where maybe 3 to 15, 20 houses share that well, but individual houses typically are private water, private sewer.
Which for me would be
private well.
a con, sharing a well, just because you have to pursue a consensus with people if there's an issue.
Yeah, and they have a way to like meter it, and there's a
Yeah.
well, you know, log and information that is tracked.
But each house has their own septic, is that correct?
Correct. There's been a rumor for a number of years that Sandia Heights is willing to share their water with North Albuquerque Acres, and that they would just extend their pipes up from Sandia Heights down through North Albuquerque Acres. And I've heard that for a long time and haven't seen any progress or real news article written about that. It's kind of hearsay at this point. Now, we talked about the school districts in North Albuquerque Acres. Another thing is access to all of the shops and restaurants along Paseo. Trader Joe's, Jinja,
Yes.
Tamashi we went to yesterday and had a wonderful lunch without Andy. That was fantastic. There's just a
Part
lot.
being without me, not the lunch.
Right, the lunch was, no, it's fantastic either way. And
Yeah.
someday we'll take you there.
Promises, promises.
The thing is, we like to let Andy bring us lunch into the office, but then when we go get lunch, we usually like to uninvite him.
Well, let's just
make
correct
sure he
that
doesn't-
statement because
Oh,
it's flawed in its concept. When we go get it, no, I go get the lunch. But if I have an appointment outside the office, suddenly they go out to this fantastic lunch. And through the entire lunch, they're sending me pictures of this wonderful food.
some of the best sushi in town. In fact, I would argue the best sushi in town at Tamashi is what we had yesterday. And we knew Andy had a lunch requirement elsewhere. So we thought, instead of going to something a little bit cheaper, lower priced, like a Chipotle or, you know, something like that, we decided to go a little bit extra. And it was a holiday as well.
It was.
And so,
But I have to point out, my friend Barbara cooked the most amazing meal. Just incredible.
yeah.
What a gourmet she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. I hope that was wonderful. Thanks for the invite, Barbara. Just kidding.
We don't invite people under 50 to those functions.
That's fair. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have fun either. What else do we want to talk about with North Albuquerque?
Well, we were, I had a thought. Oh, well, we have to point out the most important location for the best dog park in Albuquerque is the Baca.
North Domingo Baca.
Yeah, North Domingo Baca Dog Park. It's where I go. It's with, 5-minute drive at most.
Yeah.
And it is through personal survey. Everyone that has dogs have been to every dog park around, and they all rate that as the best dog park in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really lovely.
And they have tennis courts, and I think they are adding on a pool, a public pool or a water park to the community center there. So we need to do a little bit more information. We'll put up a little screenshot or something of the plans for that. But they're moving a lot of dirt over there. They have tennis courts. They have that dam area that I think they're trying to do something. And so there's a lot to do.
And of course, that's where all the kids play soccer. I mean, not in the dog park, but adjacent. And
And they have a skate park. Anyway, so there's just a lot of, there's great access to amenities. It's easy to get into town. If you take Alameda or Paseo, you're on the interstate quickly and into work downtown 15 minutes.
Right.
Well, they're constructing on the interstate right now, so maybe 20, 25 minutes. And typical Albuquerque, they're starting construction right before Balloon Fiesta. Always a fantastic idea. We love when
Yes.
a lot of people come to town and we just have construction everywhere. It's just such a good look for our city. We'll probably have to delete this part of the video.
Well, we got to spend that infrastructure money before it's clawed back.
Sure. Yeah, before they pull it out of our pockets.
Right.
Okay, so let's see. What else do we need to talk about?
Well, the view from there to the
view,
sand
yeah.
is really incredible. I mean, it's not quite the same experience as being in the foothills, but in some ways it's a different experience because you're not at the base looking up. You're just back, but you just get this beautiful, you'll get all the colors at sunset.
You get the full watermelon.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. I think when you're in Sandy Heights High Desert, you get just fractions of it.
Yeah.
Now the trade-off there is you're so close, then you see the tram movement, you see wildlife, et cetera, et cetera.
And I like it. Something we take for granted living here. Every morning when you wake up and you look out your window, you realize there's something much bigger than you because that mountain is just massive.
Yeah, I think I've said it before, but there's something humbling about, I don't know if you've ever been to like Malibu,
Yes.
stayed or been in any of the houses that are right on the water. There's something about being right there that you go, oh, I'm really not.
I'm just a tiny little ant.
Tiny little thing. And the mountains there, and I've had friends visit for Balloon Fiesta and they always joke, like, did you guys just blow that up in the morning? Like, how is that just right there at the edge of your city?
Yeah.
Such a quick elevation gain is right there in your backyard. And the views in North Albuquerque Acres, it's kind of this hybrid place between having the space and amenities you need right next door and the views, and still being close enough that you can get to the mountains in 5 minutes.
And the opposing view is a beautiful sloping river valley view.
Down into the valley.
Boy, you'd have the best view during July 4th because that's where all the fireworks are going. You wouldn't have to get in your car and go to the highway and park on the highway or find some perch somewhere.
Or Balloon Fiesta as well.
The same, exactly. You won't have balloons landing in your yard like across on the other side, but you'll have just an unobstructed view of everything going on.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then you can always see the parking lot of the casino, see how busy it is.
Yeah, you can see what concerts are going on.
Yeah.
Kind of want to avoid concert nights sometimes. But
Speaking of which, the big one is this weekend.
Tim McGraw,
And Bulldog, or whatever his name is. It's his
Pitbull.
Pitbull. That's right. Bulldog. My age is showing. Keep me on track here. But I was close, man. I was close. I knew it was a dog something, but it's...
For your age, I am impressed.
It is, just a really good venue for, whatever you want. Well, I've learned very quickly that I work for a dictator, and the dear leader, you've got to please him, and there's nothing wrong with that, is there? And it should be a dictatorship, right?
Yeah.
It's his name on the door.
Yeah, there's never any pushback from the elderly in this office. We need proper ADA access. We need wider doorways for my wheelchair and all that stuff that's coming down the pipe.
Well, the real reason why we need the wider doorways is not for my wheelchair. It's for your ego to get through the door there. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something about weight there. I was concerned.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, I think that's a wrap on North Albuquerque Acres.
Yes.
An incredible spot in Northeast Albuquerque, as far northeast or north as you can go in the city. Incredible location, great or highly rated school districts, access to shops, easy into town.
Yes.
And if you need space, if you want privacy, this is the place to be.
Right. And we will find out when the bison are coming back.
Yeah, we'll figure out what's going on with that land. We'll put up a map or a development plan for the North Domingo Baca.
Oh, are you going to post that nice drone aerial that Santi did?
Yeah, they'll be overlaid throughout the video. So people,
good.
The idea of those is to give people a vision into what we're talking about as we yap.
Right.
Because we do
yap
a lot on these. It's probably been 30 minutes already.
Yeah.
But we want to thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. If you have any questions about North Albuquerque Acres, if you're visiting and would like a tour of a home, give us a call, text, or email. Contact information will be on the screen, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.